Well. Good evening. Good evening. Happy 2025. Gloria Watch, can you imagine it's 2025 already?
Oh, yes, it is.
Wow, this year just went on very, very, very quickly. And I am glad to be back in the studio of Q95, the big station right here in Dominica. We have had the last few shows while I was offline in the United States somewhere. And tonight, we do not have in studio with us, neither will we have remotely, our co host, Patrice KB Saint Jean. As you imagine, you're tuned into Q95, the big station. I'm your host, Dr. Peter KB Saint Jean. And Patrice KB Saint Jean is your co host, not able to be with us tonight. And we have with our guest, the first, at least the first half, Gloria Walsh. I wish you could change your mind and hang out with me the whole time, but I think she has other things to do. So she may be leaving us just here until 9 o'clock. But Gloria Welch, we've been doing the calculations, and I think it's about 12, 13 years we've been working together. We've been working, collaborating on different projects and so on. So we're here kind of, it's kind of it's still a kind of a year in review, even if that Colonel last in December, 2 weeks ago, last year ended our discussions because he was our first guest. And Miss Walsh is joining us here in studio tonight. We have a good show ahead for you. Our discussions are really going to reflect about the things that we have been collaborating to accomplish in our various communities and in different parts of the world from the time we've been collaborating. Love One Teach One Foundation, Peaceful World Movement, Quality of Life Solutions, and so on. So we are happy. We thank you for joining us. Those of you who are joining us live on Facebook, on the Q95 Radio's Facebook page, you can leave comments for us there. You can also listen live through the various mediums, whatever format, directly live from the website of Q95. You can go. You can also in fact, if you just Google, you'll also find another link, or you can get the link from the website. We also remind you that we are also a live call-in show at some point, maybe the next 15 minutes or so after we have some substance and go through some things. And your audio lines will be 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097. You'll be able to call at 616-4257, and overseas line, in case you are not here, you can call Canada, United States, somewhere like that, 305-432-9624. So thank you here for joining us. We feature an artist every show throughout the year. We started off playing the music of Rasmo Delmans Moses. He has his latest album, which actually was not released yet by his wife Kathy, released the album after his untimely death last year. And he was the first artist that we featured for 2 weeks actually in the beginning of our show. So we are actually going to recognize Rasmus as the first artist for 2025 and one of his songs. We just want us to reflect on one of Rasmus' songs here in the beginning as we open up 2025. And as usual, then I'm going to go in and play you a little live accordion, know the story of our piece. And, you know, it's Christmas time has kind of gone, but I think today is kind of the close to the cutoff. You can still celebrate Christmas, Miss Hodge?
Today is the cutoff. Today,
Today's the
today is
boundary.
cutoff.
Today's boundary. So, okay, I have until Lambi said I have until midnight. I can play a song until midnight. So I may give you a little bit half a little piece of a Christmas song, which that says and a Happy New Year too. We have to have and a Happy New Year in it somehow. So I'll play this on the accordion. So we'll listen now to one of Rasmus' song in recognition of the spirit of what we're trying to do here. Thank you. I'm going to Africa. See what I find out here. I will bring a gift for you. I will bring a gift for you. I will bring a talking drum. I will bring a Juliet drum. I will bring a Jun drum. I will bring a Sabbath drum. For you, for you, for you, for you, for you. I will bring a drum for you. For you, for you, for you, for you, for you. I will bring a drum for you. Africa.
EFRCA Africa. EFRCA Africa.
For you, for you, for you, for you, for you. I will bring a drum for you. For you, for you, for you, for you, for you. I will bring a drum for you.
Yes, yes. Thank you again. Thank you again for joining us here on Peaceology State, here on the big station Q95. Our guest tonight in studio is Gloria Walsh, leader, head, and many other titles within the Love One Teach One Foundation. And sometimes when you're in organizations, you have to be doing multiple things. Miss Walsh will tell us more about what she does with Love One Teach One. But I know Miss Walsh is also involved in some other community groups. I know she's doing, I won't call the name, she'll say it for herself. But it's a pleasure to be here in studio. Gloria, I think that's well, the first time, of course, that you've been on the show with us. But
Yes.
we haven't been in the studio for a while. So I know that, most Dominicans probably already know who you are. But for those, our listening audience is international. They're people who listen to us in different parts in the Caribbean and different parts of the world. So welcome again, and please introduce yourself to our listeners.
Okay, thank you. Good evening to everybody. I am Gloria Walsh, founder and the director of Love One Teach One Foundation. And I am also, as Dr. Sesha said, I hold many hats. I am also the PRO of the Buffett State Disaster Committee. I'm involved in community work also. And Love One Teach One Foundation is a foundation dealing with vulnerable children, especially in the Silver Lake area. And I started with the Silver Lake area, and I am still continuing doing work. And then we have expanded to Trafalgar. We also have some youth from the Yampis area. We have Roseau, we have Louisville. We have a youth group with about 32 youth members.
Mhm. Yeah.
And well, Dr. Sesh and I have known each other. We have started collaborating in the year 2012, from what I know. And then from that point, we started doing different programs, the Better Me, Better You program, Better Me, Better You program. We have also worked with the Camp Glow, which is a program, a youth camp done with the US Peace Cause. We have also done our summer school, our youth empowerment camps. Also, we have done summer school too. And there are some other programs where we hope to be working on for the children, for the young people in Trafalgar and Silver Lake.
So, Ms. Walsh, I know you probably told the story before, and I may have heard it every time. Sometimes you hear a story, you hear something else that you probably didn't hear before. And I'm trying to remember that I'm the host and not speaking with you as somebody who knows the work. But for those who may not know, what motivated you to begin doing this type of work?
Well, I always had a passion for children. And I started off working at the Operation Youth Quick, which is close to the community high school. And then I moved on because I wanted to do more for the community and the children of Silver Lake. And from then on, when I started, it was a bit hectic. We had our challenges, but knowing the passion I have for children, I continue, pursuing my dream. And up to this date, I am still into it. I still have that passion, that same excitement for whenever, I work with the children and the youth.
So tell me, I don't think I ever asked you that. What was your own childhood like? When you think of yourself as the age of those children that you're mostly responding to assist?
To be honest, I had a happy childhood, I must say. And I'm the last of my mother.
Bugatti.
And the only child of my father.
Okay.
So to be honest, I had a happy childhood.
Mm.
I had a happy childhood. I can remember the days in Newton where I was raised and moving to Bath Estate, 1976. I always, was out there having fun, playing, and doing what children do, enjoying life, going to the river, and and in other terms cooking jots,
Yes,
cooking our little pots of food. But to be honest, I really had a happy childhood. I must say, my mother really made the efforts. We had our down, up and down, up and down time, but my mother really made the effort to, ensure that her children, got an education and was properly fed. I must say.
We've never discussed this before. That's something we have in common because I have to say that I had a fabulous childhood. I mean, I received a lot of love from my parents, my grandparents, a lot of love from the elders, the men, the women. Even now, some of the elders, in our community, my Sybil, I just saw this afternoon, people like Mr. Silius, and other people, like my Sybil, these are people who just have always given me good advice, always told me that everybody is special, but I need to remember myself as special as well, and that I will do good things and behave myself. And if I did something, would tell me that I'm doing that doesn't look like me, a song like me. And growing up in Trafalgar at the falls in the river, with my friends. I mean, that childhood has found a basis, a foundation for me. That when I work with young people and I'm able to help lead or help follow with them to things that they enjoy, I can feel inside. I don't just hear when I think of it, but I can, when they have joy, I feel the joy as well. And if something like hurt and problems occur, I do not, even if I've been doing this a lot intellectually, I think I also feel the hurt, and I feel the pain, I feel the fear, and I feel the desire for better, and I think it is having a childhood that no one's childhood is perfect, but having the type of childhood where even sometimes as you grow up later on, you don't realize maybe how good or bad things were, but
Yes,
especially some of the things that were really good, sometimes
Yes.
it takes a little while, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you think about your own childhood, and sometimes you compare it to some of the childhood that you're seeing other young people with whom you're working experiencing, how does that motivate you or discourage you?
Even well, seeing how I was raised, I saw my mother, doing that charitable stuff to other children, from dif- from the different communities. And even with my grandmother and my grandfather, who used to live in Trafalgar, and I saw them too doing that same kind of giving back. Even if they didn't have much, but it's like children, other children coming over, and then they would make, that one pot of food share for like 20 children. Well, I don't know how they used to do it, but they used to do it. And with that, saying that, sometimes, because when I started off, the kind of poverty level, certain things I saw, it really, really used to, sometimes bother me. It used to bother me a lot. So that is why I couldn't stop. And up to these days, I still cannot stop because I want to see children happy, and I want to see them in a way where they could, like do good. That is that type of stuff. Doing good, giving back to community, because even with the youth, what we set on doing, yes, I doing for them, but then even with different projects, I will tell them, we have to give back to community, because there are people who are giving us donating to there are people are donating to the organization to assist them.
Wow, that's interesting. So that gives us another intersection there because, by the way, I know some Shakaiti are listening saying, Gloria, grandparents from Trafalgar, who's that? You can tell them that?
Vernice Philip, mom and daddy. Was Phillips, yes.
So
Mr. Francis Philip, Eunice.
So Eunice
Philip, yes. Eunice Philip, yeah. Eunice is my auntie. Yes. And I always used to be in Trafalgar too. I always used to be coming up, spending time in Trafalgar too.
How about your uncle Byron? Is still around?
No, he's in Guadeloupe.
Okay,
yes,
still around.
He's still around. Yes, he's still around. Yeah.
I had to find Byron and give him a big hug. I can remember all of those pronouncements, Byron.
Yes, he's still around.
That's nice. That is, and the social scientist is coming out in me, right? Because I remember from my own motivation, my father being a Bennett St. Jean, being a bailiff in town, and I'm going to Grand Bay, Wesley, Woodford, from Capuchin to Kashaku. I'm going with my dad, and he's going to serve summonses, issues of divorce, people repossessions, whatever. So I would ride with him. And later on, I realized that he probably was doing better than some people because he would bring things for them. They would come to our house. We had never had to go to someone's, so I wasn't paying attention to that. But I saw my father give a lot, and you may have heard me say this, that there's a lady living in Trafalgar, and I can say her name, it's fine, Maloki, who lived up on the hill. And my mom made it her duty, however, she wasn't part of a church or any group like that, that every Sunday I had to bring my sister, I did it mostly at the end, had to bring up food, to Maloki, go and spend the Sunday. She could prepare her own food, I'm sure. But my mom told me that is something we had to do. And I used to carry, remember the carrier that have the gravy?
Yes,
with the salad, with the rice. And I don't know which one. Lambi probably can tell. Which one is to go in the bottom? That is a logic now how you put things in the carrier, everything anyhow with the carrier. You can just do Fesaule. The biggest one is at the bottom. Right.
Yeah.
The hard food. Softer food. So where the place for the dessert now? That place for dessert now? You party this out, maybe put some tablet in it. I'm going to that. Is some good tablet. I got some tablets from Strictly Itels in One Women. Yeah, right. Get some cane juice, get some nice juices. And I keep forgetting the name of that thing, a tat, the nice veggie tats, good stuff, right? So I said, go to carry that carrier and bring that. That food used to bomb in my nose, boy. I said, wish I could just stop on the road and just eat that. Just going up there and sharing. And my mom told me I had to sit in my lucky and watch her eat. And Malaki told me so many stories. And as I got older and I started to hear things, I started to learn the history. She told me about Shimei Leighton because she lived up on the Monjack there, and it was so much of a joy to sit and eat with her and to do that service. And to, as a child, I think it was a very important thing. And for you to mention something similar, to see your grandparents doing something similar, and you said something that we'll probably revisit, I cannot stop. Right.
No.
And Gloria, on a social scientific level and on a therapeutic level as well, the whole issue that I cannot stop, there are people who steal, there are people who do sexual offenses, there are people who lie, there are people that do a lot of bad things and say the similar thing, I cannot stop. And one of the things, I know we're only here for an hour, one of the things that I want us to really talk about is really how do we maybe get people to say I cannot stop in doing the good things, and I think the whether you have a bad childhood, a great childhood, or somewhere in between, I think that can have an impact of where you go. But either type of background you have can have a positive impact on the future that you go, right? Because people can have great starts that can help them with great futures. People have terrible starts that help them with great futures, and people can have mediocre starts that help them with great futures, right? So it's just interesting because sometimes we see people do that type of work. We hear people and we don't really understand, what motivates people. But also some people who are listening to us, we have a lot of, I'm a university professor. I have a mentor and guide people formally and informally from different places around the world. And a lot of my young students are trying to find their feet, and sometimes we ourselves, we are not sure what anchor people, like people who help you. Sometimes you're not sure, well, what makes this person do what they do. So I'm glad to hear. So we're looking. One of the things that social scientists look for patterns, right? So one of the patterns I'm hearing so far between you and me is that we have had a great childhood, at least something we can at least call great in the way that we can define it, an enjoyable childhood, somewhere that we something that we ought to see other people experience, right? And second of all, we didn't just pop up and do this. We kind of saw our family members doing those types of things, and it has put us. Because I can also say I cannot stop because I'm choosing not to stop in terms of giving back to our community, showing love to our people, and just being the best human being that we can be. Well, that was. Go ahead.
I think it's a passion too,
Tell me
you have
about
to have
that.
a passion to work with children
Mm-hmm.
because especially the sometimes, okay, for instance, like when I started, I started working at Operation Earthquake. Yeah, it was the children from Silver Lake used to come over, and I saw their need. I saw their need, and when I saw that, and I can recall there was this guy that came to visit, but I knew him before, and then he said he want to do more too. He want to give back, more to his Dominica and stuff like that. And we just came up, with a name. I gave him my ideas, and we just started off, and then we get another person to join us on the board because you have to for registration and all that. And then when we started with Silver Lake, one thing I must say, I always used to be on the ground. Despite of everything, I always used to be on the ground, working with them. And the parents, I think they, as, uh, as they would say, Miss Walsh, you came in and you never left. So that is the kind of a trust, they had in me. And they still have it in me. They still have that for me, that trust. And although we have been through our ups and downs, but I never left. I'm always there, talking to the children. We engage in them as much as possible. And that's it.
So I'm hearing another pattern too, and I can reflect the same in that you may have grown up somewhere you have a hat that's really dedicated towards helping society. You have seen it among your parents or your grandparents or people you care about and your community to some degree. And then when you feel you want to do something, you connect with people with similar minds, right? And someone, at least one person who has a similar interest, kind of helps you to motivate. Have you ever questioned to yourself if it's something is wrong with you that you that you're working so hard? When I say something wrong with you, I don't mean like you're
I
really
know,
sick.
I know, I
Well, you
know.
look like why am I doing this? Because I mean, all of this is not always joy.
No, because okay, for instance, lately there what happened with the incident with Cotillier, boy, when I sat down and I said to myself, boy, that's it, right? That's it.
But so many times you say that.
How many times, So I said to myself, boy, that's it. No, 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 no. Miss Walsh, just I tell myself, I tell Miss Walsh, how much more again? But then, when you enter the community and, everybody gravitating towards you and, boy, Miss Walsh, everybody telling their story and you're encouraging people, you have to have, I'm feeling sad. But at the same time, you still have to give them that sense of purpose. And here it was again. I was back on the field, doing what I have to do, organizing, doing, and getting things together, encouraging them, encouraging everybody, even to the point, I gave a tribute, and it wasn't long ago. I gave another tribute before, and it's that kind of a thing. But then I have seen it all. I have really seen it all. And up to today, I was there again, you know, I said what I had to say because, you have to, it's like we have to start back all over again. And, the work we have been doing for the past years, since after Wadada death, and then we start back, we start, and then we fall back up again, get up again, and stuff like that. So it has been a journey, but then, I just know. But as I said, it's not every time I'll be there, and I told them that in my tribute, it's not every day I will be there, so they have to wake up. That time now they have to wake up.
Hmm. So these are not people you hear about. These are young children that we help to raise. And
Mhm.
to get the news that you're working in a community, although we are working with strain and we're working with a lot of trust among
Mhm.
the family members, but to have so many, I mean, we know what just happened with Tracy, which was a
Yeah.
loss. But to get the news of that injury for one of the two young people that we've been working with for 12 years over, where we've known them and
Mhm.
work with them constantly, COVID slowed us down a little bit.
Mhm.
And the very things that we are hoping to never hear happen in the community, and the people that we never think are involved, either as perpetrators or as otherwise, we get the news that the thing that we feared the most, one of the major things we came here and working with people to do the most, happened in double contact. The first time that two women, that been a very long time, we know,
Oh, yeah.
if ever, at that phase happened to get to be victims of bullets, and one of them fatally. And this happened to the young people that all of the good things that we work and put into, we put into working with them. And we're not trying to, we're not, of course, we can't blame them. They're victims. We're not trying to
Yeah.
do any of that. But when you get the news that this happened to two young people that we've been working with for that time in that kind of context, what are some of the things that run through your mind?
Well, first of all, when I got the news, I said to one of them that called me, I said to her, wait a while, I coming back.
Mm.
So I put down the phone,
Mhm.
I went to drink some water, and I came
Mhm.
and she told me. But Miss Salt, yes.
Mhm.
So I contacted somebody that went up to the hospital.
Mhm.
So they said they was working on her because,
Mhm.
and in my mind, I said, Lord, I don't want her to die.
Mhm.
I don't want her to pass.
Mhm.
But then now, another person, because I've been getting calls as soon as that happened,
Mhm.
different people calling me, and to find
Mhm.
out what happening. But I myself remember I'm living Bapper State and they
Mhm.
live in Silver Lake. So then when I got the news of her passing, I really started to cry because I said, what? I cannot believe, you still cannot believe because,
Mhm.
and you don't know who, you don't know what, you don't know things. So
Mhm.
it's like when next day I went up, and I started to talk to the mother, I spoke to the news reporter. I said, I
Mhm.
mean, it's sad because that is children, you work with. Because even last week, my daughter sent me a picture of she Cotilia, small. I think
Mhm.
I started working with Cotilia, I think when she was about, I think 6 to 7 years. I can
Mhm.
remember her in the
Mhm.
summer school and vibrant and
Mhm.
everything. And you know what that brought that came to mind. I can remember when you and I was in the community. They had the long houses at the time,
Mhm.
and then she came out selling her fritters,
Right.
and
Right.
I say, "Dog, fritters on sale.
Mhm.
It's money
Business.
making time,
Yeah.
boy." And she
Business.
started laughing,
Right. Right.
and that just, um, I was kind of concerned.
Mhm.
Honestly, I said, "What?" I said, "Tracy, we just finished Berry Tracy, and no, look curtail, all that went through my mind and thoughts and stuff. And then I started talking to the family and I started talking to the community. And then I tell them, no, that have to stop. And I tell the parents, all you have to start doing what all you have to do, because when I started with Silver Lake, Eddie Standem was small. And then you can remember Wadada, all of them, the parents, they was really firm with the children at the time. And what we fought, when we fought, they were troublesome. Like now it's another generation now. And you see a whole different kind of behavior, a different kind of behavior with those of the past and now. And they themselves just say that the bigger ones, because they just say, when we used to be with Miss Walsh, we wasn't like that. Yeah, so all that they were saying too.
Yeah. Well, and we still have to keep Katisha in our minds as well, because she's recovering, and hopefully I get an opportunity to see her and see, her mom again and the brothers and so on. Well, this is heavy stuff. I mean, the type of work, we have to care for ourselves so we can be there to help others. And I know I have you for a short time here, but just to give ourselves a little bit of a brain break.
Yes.
I'm going to do as we do sometimes in the show. Well, we have been doing it every show. To play a little bit of the accordion. So we're going to give ourselves a little bit of a mental break from this heavy stuff. And I'm going to play the song. It's a theme song of Peaceology. It's a theme song whenever I do peace development workshops and the like, or whenever I do even business workshops and so on to help people come to the present. Human beings are great in many ways, and we have two very important qualities. One is the ability to have memory, where we can go back into the past, we can go back and think about things, and imagination, which we can go forward and think about things things that have not happened yet. And those things are important, but there are downsides to memory and imagination as well. Sometimes we can go back to good memories and it can make us feel great, and we can celebrate our lives that way. Sometimes they can be bad memories, get us afraid, get us depressed, get us frightened, re injure us. And sometimes we can also imagine things, but we imagine things in ways that give us anxiety, that give us worry, that cause us to not be able to function as well as we would want to function in the present. So we have to learn various techniques to bring ourselves to the present. Meditation can help us to do that, just pondering on great things, reading scripture, relaxing, sports. For me, I like going to Wattenhaven and having some hot water bath, the cold water. When you come for the hot water, you go in that cold water. I cannot focus on anything else than that cold water that's falling on you anyway. Well, so here in Peaceology State, we've been doing this, and as we will be doing again tonight, and the accordion will help us to be in the moment. So I'm about to play a song that I wrote called Know the Story of Our Peace. We can say, know the story of my peace. We can say, know the story of your peace. And when you listen to the accordion, I want you to listen to, I'm not going to play the whole, well, I'll play the whole song, but not for too long, and just in certain parts. And I want you to listen to the way it begins, the simplicity of the chords, and then it's going to get a little more complex, and then it's going to end with a little bit of dynamics. And I want you to listen to the melody. That's like this side, or the harmony on the other side, the left side. This is diatonic accordion. They have piano accordions and a diatonic accordion, the common one that we play here. So mine is in well, we have it in CGF, and the accordion, the diatonic accordion has 31 notes on the right, and you can play two tunes in each and 12 basses on the left. So we're going to listen to this one, know the story of our piece, and just try to listen and bring yourself in the moment and listen to the different components. Know the story of our piece. I mean, every time you've heard me play this, I have never played this the same way.
I noticed that.
And part of why I've never played this the same way is because it's not written. You know, it's not something that's on sheet music. I'm actually committing. This is my third year playing the accordion, and I'm giving myself 5 years of being illiterate in music. I don't want to learn to read. I mean, whatever I knew already, I can forget it. But I do not want to formally learn how to read music until about 5 years. God give me the life that I want to be able to play, because my ancestors who played this, you know, a lot of them were not writing and reading sheet music, you know, so there was something that came from the sense of working with the music. So it is so great for me to be able to follow in the footsteps. Psycho, Seja up in Botica, actually, hopefully I get an opportunity to visit him, and I have some a Masby, Uncle Masby, and a grand uncle of mine from What Even who played the accordion. But so every time you hear, I change up something a little bit, and it's part of being in the present.
But that reminds me of a world-renowned guitarist, Peter Frampton. He's one of the best in the world. And every time he plays one of his songs, his guitar solo is always different. That's what I see you doing.
Yeah. Well, in fact, I had when I go to Chicago, sometimes I go to the blues clubs, and I've been trying not to say that I play the accordion because some of the artists keep asking me to play, and I don't want to. I want to go and enjoy the show. I don't want to go and gig. You know what I mean? And one of those blues musicians that I really really admire, he says, like, whenever he goes down to the South, and like another woman who also is a great blues musician in Chicago, say whenever they go to the South, they just ask whoever is playing to just give them something. So the guy said that somebody said, "Do you want it in C? You want it in F? You want it in G?" He said, "I can't say what he said, but he said, blank, just give me something." So, because he just wants to play a new rendition based on what he was receiving. So he just wanted to do that. So, well, thanks. What is the guy named? Peter Frampton.
Peter Frampton, yeah.
Peter Frampton. He has a good first name. I guess of course, he has a good last name too. But and that's not from the area of Framptons in Dominica. But that's not the Peter Frampton. I need to look at his wrist. Yes. So yeah, we just got some good news that Gloria Walsh is able to hang out with us for a little bit longer. That's really good. That's really good. Yeah. So we have some people who we have some comments. Miss Walsh, you may have to help me out here. You can read that from there. You have to go. How you going to read it? You have to take a picture. Then you have to take a picture and then take a picture there on your phone and then bring it close to you so you can read. Lambi, can you scroll up so we can see the first comments?
Maybe I can
Miss
watch
Watch.
it on my phone.
Oh yeah, you can see it on your phone to Miss Watch as well. And so those of you who are saying those comments, we have a few that we are seeing here. We can do either that. I wouldn't mind. Lambi, if you can scroll up a bit and just take a picture with my phone. So who I take, and I can also see it too. If Miss Walsh is reading, I don't mind seeing in case there's something I want to process a little bit more. and to scroll it up a little bit so I can see that. So those of you, just so you understand what we're doing here, we're here at the
I
studio of
see it.
Q95. Yeah, yeah. And we said that we are, of course, there's a show you can call in, and you can dial in at 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, and then we also have the overseas line of 305-432-9624, the overseas line. So, Miss Walsh, what are people telling us so far? What are you hearing so
We
far?
have Agnes Kazimi.
Okay. Well, you don't
Our
have to call the name if you don't want to,
okay,
but in
yes,
case.
our mom. Well, the person that's why I'm saying
Oh,
it.
sorry.
Our our mom Aiseline was our first teacher, teaching us to give back to our community.
Hmm.
So I guess you know that person.
Yes. That's my sister,
Oh, okay,
Marilyn, my
okay, all
sister
right,
Marilyn.
okay, 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 all right.
I love it.
Catherine Nichols Lowe said, Miss Walsh, you are blessed. Keep doing what you are doing. Your reward is in heaven. Thank you. Connie Roberts. My memory as a child, your mom used to invite people after Christmas, church mass. She used to give us fruitcake and sorrel juice at, at your family home. That's Dr. Sejan. Connie Roberts is sorry. Connie Roberts is Barbara.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah, okay.
Barbara.
Okay.
And then she said, Miss Walsh, you are blessed. You are a blessed woman. Thank you, Barbara. Barbara, I've been working with us
Hmm.
from quite a long time because she has been a volunteer. And right now, her young girls, are part of the youth group.
Hmm.
So they have been with us because we just finished up our New Year's dinner and we had 32 youth, young people from Trafalgar. We had from Roseau, we had Yampins, we had Silver Lake, we had Louisville. Yes, and they had a good time.
And I mean, I don't, you can correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but I think I'm confident enough to say that Barbara has most likely been, or clearly been, our most active parent, right?
Yes,
I mean,
yes, I
with her
must say
children
that.
being
Yes.
there, and not just because her children are there, she gives very good advice, she helps out, she's fully in, she stayed a long time with us doing different things, and she's always been very supportive. And even after, even during the pandemic, but even afterwards, with like even when I'm not there, she's still doing things with
Yeah,
your
she
children.
still
And
works.
so,
Yeah, she still work with me anytime we have a program. And I must say too, our you our youth division youth officer, Miss Lydia Libla, I must say hats off to her. She has been, really working with us. Once we have a program, she and her the staff of youth division, they have been with us because we completed our youth our annual youth symposium too also.
okay.
And they, the at the time the acting chief youth officer and some of the staff members, they were there with us, working with the children and giving, different topics, speaking on different topics.
Yes, yes. One of the things I want you to talk about a little bit later on, and I'm so glad you're able to stay with us. We are almost, can you believe it? We are just 6 minutes away from the top of the hour.
Yes.
The time flies when you're having a great amount of fun. And so one of the things I want you to talk about, and just jump in and say that in case somehow I don't get to it because we get excited about something else, is that I know that we have had a lot of different collaborators, but more and more, and you and I talk frequently, and you give me updates. I sometimes talk to the families through you and so on. But one of the things I've heard more from you recently, and I don't want to say the names because I don't want to say the wrong names, but I know there are governmental agency like with the welfare office or from social service. I don't remember. So it seems that you're working with some governmental agents. When I say agents, I'm not talking about or agencies. I don't know. That seem to be collaborating on some things on the ground more than we saw like in 2012 to 2015 or before the pandemic. Is that right?
Yes, because right now we've I think now the welfare division putting up a boys mentorship program now. So I recommended because it's just like a pilot program. Now they're starting out. So I recommended one young boy from Silver Lake. I still trying to get maybe another one. I just working on it. And I see that no, they really, I mean, it's a collaborative effort because especially we seen what happening now within the community. So the more people we can get to work with us and partner with us, to get things going. And there's another church group, I just have to keep in touch with them because I was kind of busy, and we want to have like a get together in the form of a prayer meeting, and then getting the children, I mean, the children are there, but sometimes they need a little spiritual guidance. They need that for sure. So on that line, we're going to start doing that for them. Also, with the youth officer, we haven't met yet. We're supposed to be meeting. I think, on Wednesday, hopefully, and to plan at least our 6 months program. Okay. So we have ideas coming up. We have we have seen other partners showing interest. So we just want to, when we meet, to outline the program and get everything going. And we really want to work with the children and the youth. Because I can remember when we started off in Silver Lake, remember we had the children and we started off with. And some of them, now they are in their teens, but we still have to work with them. We still have a lot of work to do.
I mean, so that reminds me, in fact, a couple of times I met a couple of the young children that we work with. They say, "So you're doing something your first time before you go?" So I guess I have to try to deliver on that. And the other thing that I've heard is like some of the parents have said, "So whatever you guys do with the children, can you do some of that stuff with us?" Yes. Remember, and then some, when we have had some of the workshops, down where that had the little house down there, close to where the trap house was, there we would have the just open field. We would, before the row houses were cut, before the row houses burnt, we would just have an open film or something, and the parents would be very actively involved, come to the events. So I think, I mean, we should talk about maybe doing something before I leave for sure, to from what you were saying. But I you're right, faith is a very important dimension. And I think after every community seems to have its own type of natural kind of leader. And I think that we all have said this before, when Wadada was around, everybody can put order in their own way, but I know for sure when we collaborated, when we wanted the electricity to turn on, to put our projector on, when we wanted the space, if we wanted children to help, Wada would be the first to try to get his children to help. Esther's very helpful with that. And on the ground, and the other, when Shirley's children would work with them, and she's always been, willing to collaborate. Lucia so very helpful with us from the beginning. But I think, with a lot of those young children that are now 10 years older than when we met them, I think it's way to try to rekindle in ways to be helpful, because I know that no one is perfect, and not every structure of parenting is perfect, but there are a lot of good aspects even in bad situations. So I think part of what we need to do is to focus on building on the good, while of course not ignoring some of the more disheartening things, but to come at them in a way that there can still be encouragement even while you're trying to do something difficult. So we need to continue, and I just want to thank the people of the Silver Lake community and people in Trafalgar. I work with people in different areas, those in Yampi's areas of Marigot and some other sections, that Grand Bay and other places that I don't necessarily need to call names. But I thank them for the opportunity for us to be able to serve and for us to be able to help. And while we are young enough to still be able to do this, and the younger people, because there are some young professionals who are looking to who like the idea, not just the idea, but are doing things like something like what we're doing in their own way. And I would like to find ways that we can continue to collaborate with them and with governmental agents and with funders and others that can help us do the work on the ground.
Yes, because even with the youth division, with our youth officer, 2 years ago, we had the parenting program, we had a 6-week parenting program for Silver Lake. And it was good because we had the welfare officer. We had a welfare officer that came in to speak to them. We had other different resource persons, coming to you know, give them, that kind of hope. So we had another person too from the gender bureau. And it was good. It was good. And they graduated and they got a certificate. And at that time now you could hear, the parents, there were certain things, like they were discussing, they were telling it all, their trials and their challenges, their successes. And it was really good. I must say it was really good. They really opened up, towards that program. And I am saying to myself, if it means we have to repeat that program again, just to, you cannot stop. Is a program you just cannot stop, So if we can start it back, give on different topics again, do another round, maybe wrong part 2, and try to get them again to speak out, and see what's bothering them and stuff like that.
Yes, when we come back, and we're going to take a little break. So when we come back to, I want us to reminisce on some of the collaboration we've had with the police. Because places like Silver Lake, places like Grand Bay, when we started to work in Grand Bay in 1995, after Hale and Brown was shot and killed, and then when we continued, then the community policing program, the first on island, was implemented in 1997. That was a foundation. We did some work in Portsmouth as well. But I remember when we were there in 2012. In fact, when Camp Glow was going on, we had police officers. I remember one of them from Yampis who actually grew up in Yampis. But we had the current police chief now actually was one of those who, remember, drove us. And when we had our people come from outside of the United States, I mean, from the United States to visit. So we have had. So, and even in Silver Lake too, when we have had events there, because one of the times the police was supporting and even giving transportation support there. So I think it will be a good opportunity to be able to collaborate with different people like that, with the nurses when we're in Grand Bay, the nurses, the other healthcare providers, the environmentalists, and those types of people that provide support to the company, to the community. I think it is good for us to continue to have kind of a new season in 2025. Let's try to do that. Let's try to.
I think too, because I'm Mr. Andrew David Andrew, police officer.
He's retired now.
No, not that one. I don't think. No, I think it's his son.
His son. Okay.
Yeah. So I believe now he's starting. They're going to start a program.
Okay.
But we haven't go in depth as yet. So we'll be meeting. To speak on, and speak on the program. Together with the Bath State community, and also we will get a few people from the Silver Lake community, so we can implement a program, put a program together. So maybe start it off as a pilot program / community policing. And I think that would be, because as I said to him, I believe that we have to start with our children and youth. We have to start off first, because if you have the adults already, it's kind of difficult. But then if we get the youth, and the children together, to start off that program, I think it will be a success.
Yes, and especially when we think about the things that were a success source in the beginning, which was really having that collaboration. Because when the Peace Corps, the police, we had people of the health department and so on, and even the diocese. Because when we used what was the retreat center
in Girodel?
Right. Well, there's another one.
Yes, and we were in Marigot.
Right.
Yeah, we were in Dedices. Yes,
Right.
we were there. And even with the summer school too, even if it was summer school, we had we had a fireman who came in. We had the police. We had I think somebody from the gender bureau. We had different people coming in, to speak to them during the summer school, and even with the youth empowerment camps together with Miss Andra.
Oh yes,
Andrea
yeah.
Nanton, may her soul rest in peace. She was
Oh yes.
she played an integral part in the youth program because she was the assistant youth coordinator, and she really did a good job, with the children, some of the children from Yampis, and up to this day, I see some of them, there's one that I saw at Jolie's pharmacy. She's a pharmacist now. And I was so proud. And when she called me, I hugged her. She told me, it was nice. It was really, really, really good to see, she has become, a pharmacist and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know Melissa Morgan. That's Gender Bureau.
Yes, that's Gender Bureau.
There was
so right now she's
2017.
she's studying now.
Okay.
She's in I think Ireland. I think she got a scholarship, something like that. She's doing a master's now.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad.
She too
the
was
Gender
one
Bureau,
that played a great part, in our programs, So I just, it's just 2025, as you said. We have to, just continue the work
and rekindle some of those connections,
we
right?
even have to start back,
Because 2017, 18, 19, like we were going strong in that regard, and then COVID came,
and then COVID,
the hurricanes,
and then
the
even the fire
hurricanes
after 2016 when Silver Lake, because we had the youth etiquette dinner and the children, the children used to be so excited about that too. And then after that fire,
and then
hurricane, and then
the flood before the hurricane was the tropical storm, right? Right.
And then all that happened. But I must say, well, this year, like the other years, we used to do it big, but we'd have little events. But this itself, we really went out and we did the youth dinner. We did that dinner on New Year's Day, Trafalgar, and the Trafalgar Resource Center, and it was good. We have 32.
So maybe, Ms. Walls, one of the things we're going to do this year is some of our previous collaborators, with the police, with the fire, with the Gender Bureau, as we're having, I mean, even people from the courts, to educate our young people. I mean, it's amazing when some of them, when you ask them what they want to do when they grow up, that they aspire to be things that some people would not imagine those children would aspire to be, right? Just like when we saw Tracy and her daughter Gina, her sister Gina, and others, when they asked us young people. So I think it would be good for us to try to get back to kind of where we were just before, even before the fire, before the TS, before the tropical storm, and before that, to rekindle some of those connections. Because if some of the trends that we're seeing now continue, I do not even want to bring that energy to the show.
Yes.
Because some of the things that we are seeing are scary. And we understand, we work with the people, but parents can do the best. You can only do the best of what you have. You cannot do much of anything with what you don't have. And the children are very smart,
Very.
And when even when it seems like they fail, when I say in terms of what they dropped out of school and so on, when you have conversations with them, you see that there's so much more to someone's brilliance, and the opportunities. And actually, Dominica has some. I mean, everywhere is lacking of opportunities, to some degree. And I'm not going to defend the fact that there are some great opportunities we need here, but there are also some good opportunities that some people have that can be applied more into. I'm talking about some of the programs that were to some of the youth. When I talk to them, like some of the social welfare, you can talk about some of that with the place over by close to
Operation Earthquake.
No, the operation is going close to St. Martin's School up there. The social
center.
Yes, yeah. And actually, a couple of them were assisting now with it's not good again. Oh boy, let's see. So we need to find ways to have conversations with those who could help, and maybe even find ways we can get external funding and so on. That's some of the great programs that we have seen around that have been successful, that have not been able to sustain. How can we even help those services to be provided in our communities, even for the NGO or for the for-profit governmental sectors and so on?
Because 2 years ago we had our youth skill program. It was funded, and we did basic computering, we did the basic sewing, and we did pastry making. And the top Top 10?
Mm.
Yes, they were awarded. Some of them got their mixer and some other appliances to do, their little business, little side business.
Mm.
Some of them get sewing machines,
Mm.
for them to do their stuff. And yes, and they're really taking it into they're taking it serious.
So
Yeah,
what
they're
what
taking
we
it
should
serious.
try to do, one of the things we try to do was the same as well, is that I know Brianna, for example, and Edista were part of this hospitality program over the place close to Cicero
Oh
Evergreen,
yes,
right?
with the youth skills
Yeah.
program. Yes, with the
And I
youth
mean,
skills.
and I think it is good for these young people to learn those skills, but it is good for them to be able to apply it beyond what they learned,
Mhm.
for that, right? Because as if anything, if you don't use it, they kind of lose it. Although it's good that they have some of that, but we also need to try to scale up to the point where how can we help to influence business ventures where those young people who were preteen and now teen are probably elder, or young, in the early 20s, and how can we probably bring some more partners on board that can help, because it's one thing to help them to learn and to graduate from school, but then they have to grow up to feed their families, or else
Yes.
they get they're more likely to be seduced into the aspects of life that we
Mhm.
all thinking are not that good for them, right? So we can talk about how we can connect into some of that and try to get on the lineup. We use the show as a platform, where we can get maybe someone from the police department, from welfare department. No, not everybody together at different times to talk about
Yes,
some of the
right.
collaborations. Know what some of them are doing, because when I talk to police officers, there are things that the police are doing in their own way. When I say in their way, some people may not
Mhm.
know, or and there are resources, human resources and other resources that we can point to that are limited. But I think we can also do more in collaboration. Well, folks, let me remind you, we're trying to give us a call in as well, see if there are any more new, if you have any new comments after Barbara's. But let me remind you that we are here at Peaceology State here on the big station Q95 here in Rosa Dominica, 767-449-3095. If you are local, 449-3096, 449-3097. You can also call us cell number 616-4257. And for those of you overseas, the United States and elsewhere, 305 432 9624. I'm your host, Dr. Peter KB St. Jean. I'm here with Gloria Walsh, who is the director and founder of Love One, Teach One Foundation, and she works with other organizations. And we have a caller. Caller, thank you so much for calling. Welcome to Peaceology
Gloria,
State.
Victoria, you hear me?
Go ahead, we can hear you. Go ahead, caller.
Did you, at once, did you reside at the riverbank?
I don't know. So can you repeat your question, caller?
I asked if you ever reside at the riverbank.
Have you ever resided at the riverbank?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So I wanted to know if it's you, see.
So,
That's all I wanted to know.
Okay.
caller, and thank you for calling. And I'm glad you got the answer to your question. Another Gloria Welch at the riverbank. Thank you, caller, for calling. And other callers, we are with you. Another, if you have,
We have three more comments.
we have three more comments. We have three more comments. All right, Miss Welch, what are those comments?
So Hazeland Anthony said, Happy New Year to you all. May God bless you.
Thank
May
you.
God bless you all. Thank you. And she said again, Miss Walsh, remember our school days at St. Martin's School? Yes, I remembered. And Jackie Josie said, nice hearing from you, Gloria, and my brother, Dr. Peter Seja, about the youth in the Roseau Valley. Stay strong as you process the recent sad news in the community. Thank you very much.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling. Thanks for checking in. Thanks to your friend. And I want to thank before we take another music break. I want to thank a few people that have made our journey, have really been very helpful in our journey. But I want to start, and I will be careful how much I say, because I didn't tell him I was going to do this. But there's a man called Alvin Anthony. You've heard that name. He has been sponsoring our students from the very beginning when we did this.
Scholarship
And
program.
recently there was a student in a bit of a distress that through a certain other network came to me, and I reached out to Alvin, and that student was at high risk of not being able to finish their last semester at a university in the United States. I won't give more specifics. And this man made a substantial donation, like within 5 minutes, telling him the student was, where the community of Dominica the student was, what the student was studying. This man, and we're not talking about just $1,000. We're talking about a considerable amount of money that this man donated to a student that he does not know, that he probably doesn't know the family, that is not from our community, and he may never meet. You understand? I mean, his mother died recently in Kings Hill, and he had to, after he made the pledge, and the man did good to deliver on the pledge. And even it's what you remember Joanne Daway, and remember my siblings, and Norman Roll. You know
Yes.
that whenever we just said, "Hey, we need some help with the students," with very little time,
Yes.
people just opened up their purses, and trusted us. Colonel we were able to help him with that. Even Sheldon Riley in Trafalgar and Adrian and some of those other young people that we were able to help, and we still work with them closely. We just we're not at this point, and I don't like to ask. I don't like I like to try to use my own money. I have to get away from that, but we need to build more opportunities and avenues for helping, having resources to help those young people. um, and I know that my sister in Tampa and the Dominic Association there, help out, with different contributions. So I just wanted to thank people like that. Even as we're listening here too, we have LA Dupini. I say I give shout outs to various businesses that have been very, kind to us in terms of helping out, not just with discounts, but great customer service. I got some items there from LA Dupini and Burton's, and the owner has been very supportive, and encouraging of us. Um, we know Do It Center. I also we get great good services from there. Great customer service. River Rock Cafe in Trafalgar, Mayfield, and the rest, and Laura and others. People go out there and enjoy Trafalgar, enjoy the Roseau Valley. Whether you're going to the Tiqueglo show, or you're into Screws or Tiaz, or the Escape, or my friends' places there in Norton Haven, or just want to come up and enjoy the waterfall, enjoy the rivers. We have M&G Mills Place in Trafalgar, where you can get some nice pastries, and enjoy those aspects of our great community, and munch and brunch. Sandrine and Francis, who run a nice establishment. If you want some good food during the day and even later at night, get some good sandwiches and munch and brunch on the way up to Trafalgar and Papiota Road, or the Trafalgar Road, heading just a little bit after you pass Peaceology Acres. And we have Viewpoint. Viewpoint has a restaurant as well, where, and actually the owners of Morancy and Sons. And out here, we're the first main spot in Trafalgar where you can see the waterfalls. Viewpoint is right there. You can see the Roseau area, you can see the horizon, you can see the waterfalls, and you can stop and enjoy the foods that you could have from there. Get some pastries right around by Burl and M&G's and other aspects there in the Roseau Valley. We have, Timothy in Mount Prosper, the whole family, but Davidson, one of the farmers there, that and construction and driver and trucker and all those things. We have a lot of people who support us with what we do, with the spirits. Again, we're not at the point where we have had except one for Fitz Nicholas, who has been who has paid for one commercial, but we're not even. We just enjoy now being able to be supportive of our community, and we are not yet even collecting anything for commercials. We just like the opportunity that people who have been kind and give us good customer service and are friendly to us with the work that we do. We just want to reach out and thank them for those various ways that they contribute to a great society, helping with low stress and high joy, and the way that help us build a better world. So we're going to take a little break, listen to another song from Rasmo, and then we will continue. Thank you for joining us.
When I say quick, then you say what? Quick. Quick. When the team move, people say, team. What's it? Team. What's it? Power, c'est bon power. Parole, parole, c'est bon, parole. Parole, parole, c'est bon, parole. Parole, parole, c'est bon, parole. Aïe, un chien, mais qui dans les blanc. Glo passage jamais. Plié qui sent, on s'en pas jamais essayé des héritiers yon enfants, non pas jamais essayé des héritiers yon enfants. Parole, parole, c'est bon, parole. 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 Piti à piti, choisi au café niche. Aïe, jodi chou, ish, café ish. Oui, enfants café enfants, c'est pour nous parler de ça. Enfants café enfants, c'est pour nous parler de ça. Parole, parole, c'est bon, parole. 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 IPTH, capat go bois, c'est yon parole. Tout le monde connaît ça. C'est ça qui fait. Nous pas qu'à perdre espoir. C'est ça qui fait. Nous pas qu'à perdre la foi. Parole, parole, c'est bon, parole. 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 When I say quick, then you say quoi? Oui. But this team will team was team. When I say quick, then you say quoi? Oui. When this team will team was team. Team. Akakta kimebai kamute, akakta kimebai kamute, akakta kimebai kamute, akakta kimebai kamute. Pourquoi il pas kamute? Elle est finie, dis-moi. Pourquoi il pas kamute? Elle est finie, dis-moi. Elle est finie, trop piquant. 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 Parole, c'est bon, parole. Parole, c'est bon, parole. Parole, c'est bon, parole. Parole, c'est bon, parole.
Swatch, à présent, nous les savons comment créole ou ça parler.
I can understand.
On ne peut répondre à créole. Comment créole ou ça parler.
Moi, ça comprend.
Ok, ça y dit là, ça y dit à château. Il dit powerball, c'est bon power.
I'm not sure.
Parable talk. A good
it's
parable.
parable.
So when you
Okay.
speak parable, parables are good, right? PTH kabat ko bois, right? Means the small axe is
Mm.
beating
I think.
big wood or
I
big tree,
understand,
right?
understand.
Right? And ish and ish was Lambi, what is that one? Ish
Mhm.
and ish T4 is it basically said like small little by little the ants is building the nest and it is something like that. Like little by little big things happen, right? And this one, so now Miss World, you can say it macaque savent qui pied bois ikamute. the macaque
I think
pata.
the monkey know what tree it's climbing. I think the monkey know what
But you're
tree
supposed to say with
it's
confidence. Only put this
climbing.
aqua, but the
No, I
man
cannot
good.
say that.
For
I
your
can speak
grandparents,
a little, but not much.
or your
Not that
grandparents come
much.
Jack Chen, you can't speak
Boy,
patois
let me
there.
tell
What
you,
happened?
I can
Ou seja,
understand.
lá com Deus,
Yes, I know.
Cecil Joseph did the teacher talk patois. That'll be not good, my partner. so I said because Pierre Lipidini piquant, like the monkey knows which tree it's climbing. I will not climb the pickle tree because the pickle tree will prick it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, something right? Like that. Something to that.
Pierre Lipidini top piquant. So it's similar. Those parables. I think there's a lot of sophistication and simplicity. Like a lot of times we are figuring out how can we do better in life. It seems that we need to step back, that we need more than we sometimes need to go forward. And we need to go forward as well. But stepping back, when we think about the lessons we got from our grandparents, from our parents, the lessons we get from scriptures, or the lessons we get from many kinds of books, even literature, that, and even if you probably even went to read, you remember, did you read Mills and Bones, by the way? My sister read those.
Not really, no, not really.
But my sisters have those big packs of those books, read it. And sometimes I would just go back and randomly pick a classic book, like even an old story I was written a long time ago. And it's amazing, even when you read, works like Charles Cranberry Tales, Canterbury Tales, and Book of Songs, or you just read something that is over 100 years.
But I believe sometimes you need to take a little break for true. Do some reflection, especially the kind of work, some according to the work you're doing too. Because, well, for me, after 10 years death, I took a break. I had to, because that death was so sudden. So I took a break. I think I took a month break, and then catch myself. And then I can remember calling the youth officer, and I said to her, let's start back again. Because because we working together with the Trafalgar School too. I've been doing a lot there too. And then it's like sometimes when we entered, some of the, I think there was one or two teachers that said, boy, miss, it's a little while I haven't seen you. But, you have to take a break, especially when you see you get news like that. You just have to. And then just start back. And that's what we did. And the children, the youth, they were really happy to be back, back together again. Because I think the more you can engage them, it's better for them. And that's what I realized with I don't know for other youth members, other youth, but I know for mine, from the time we say we have an activity, they're excited. They're excited to be there, to engage. And not too long for the community day of service, we had I think almost 25 youth members, and some from Trafalgar too. A lot from Trafalgar came. And then we had Silver Lake, we had Park Estate, we had Roseau, our usual. And we did that project, the beautification project. We replanted, some flowers by the Roseau Primary School. And even in that little roundabout too. That's what we did. We were along together with our youth officer. And I think they was excited for that project. Yes, they were excited for that project.
Yes, well, it's good that the work continues. And as we said before we go big, actually we are already at the bottom and a half of the hour. That means that we are 21:30, or we are already here just 9:30 already. We have just 30 minutes or minus a few minutes to wrap up. And Miss Walsh, again, thank you for the work you've been doing in the youth and the collaborations that you're having with people in different components. So I want to find out before we switch talking about okay, in terms of how do we move this important work forward and bring on people to help to get better results for the communities that we all care about. I want to talk about this issue of self care a bit, right? Because you were just talking about that and the kinds of impact that people take. And I don't want to make this biographical, but for me, as you know, a army veteran that has maybe seen and witnessed and experienced and got impact from more things than I wish to admit, and as a person, urban sociologist who work in the hearts of the problems in Chicago, Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo, different places, and other locations, Buffalo, New York, and those things take a toll. Those things can take, well, they do take a toll,
They
and the
do.
body is keeping poor score. The body is keeping points. So, Mr. Hodge, how do you and those around you do self care? How do you care for yourself during those difficult duties?
Well, one thing I must say,
Mm,
prayer
mm,
for me, it's starting off my day with prayer.
mm,
I just love that part of, when the morning comes, I look forward to my mornings. And then I usually get up like sometime 4:30.
mm,
If I'm really tired, I'd get up 6. But
mm,
usually my time is like 4:30 minutes to 5.
mm,
And I would take that time off to pray,
mm,
reflect,
mm,
and look at my positive quotes.
mm,
Because even on my Facebook page, I would put off my little prayers and
mm,
positive quotes and, positive things, just
mm,
that positivity about me.
mm,
And that is when I would start my day.
mm.
And even in the difficult times, I usually just take a break. I just tell myself, that's it.
And what do you do during that break?
Sometimes nothing,
But how do you do nothing?
nothing, nothing. Sometimes I just there like all the time. I would just put on like a little music,
Mm,
and sometimes I'm on my computer, just browsing, just and then
mm,
usually I would give my children a call, especially my daughter in England.
mm,
And then sometimes we are a little, it's in Dominica, we used to say,
mm,
when you see she used to come over because she used to live on us, so
mm.
she used to say, boy, mommy, let's look palisot.
That's
And when they're
nice.
talking.
That's nice.
So usually we still continue that kind of a thing
Right.
because sometimes every morning, every day she would call
Mm,
and
mm,
then we discussing, we
right.
talking about different things, even with
Mm,
the death of Katina because she sent me a picture and we
mm,
see Katina and we laughing, remembering the days,
mm, mm,
So most of the times, I would just take time off, you know, especially in those difficult times.
mm,
And I would just tell myself, you need to take a break. So
mm,
sometimes there are times, even with those in Silver Lake,
mm,
sometimes I would just not go like
mm,
a whole week.
mm.
And it's like when I go, Miss Walsh, what you doing now? I say, you banners. You see?
Yeah.
I say, no, 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 no. I just take a break.
Mm,
Oh, that I say to Miss Walsh, because Miss Walsh, I not seen you, nah? I not seen you, that kind of a
mm,
thing.
mm,
So, sometimes just not to, just thing because even like okay, that happened to when that happened to Katile, I took a little time off,
mm,
like 3 days,
mm,
and then I went back.
mm.
And then even Katile mother, boy, Miss Watch, I say you ban maybe pal. I say no, Miss Watch you ban you, Miss Watch there. And
Mhm,
then I start, that kind of a thing,
mm,
but sometimes I just like take a break. You just
mm,
have to tell yourself you're going to take a break.
Do you do meditation or what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, I don't really do meditation, really.
Not
I don't really,
formally,
not
but your
formally,
prayers really,
yeah, my prayers,
but that is a
my
type,
prayers,
like
yeah,
you
that's a type
to
of,
introspect, right, to
yes,
look
and,
inside.
sometimes do a little reading,
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I like to read, yes, I like to read, and even, I'm not a a movie person,
Mm-hmm.
but you see things like, documentaries,
Mm.
that, I love that.
What
And
kind of
some,
documentaries are like?
sometimes, even if sometimes like political leaders
Mm.
and stuff like that, I like to watch that. Even, you see like Putin, I
Mm-hmm.
really like Putin.
You like
I like him. Even in, I like his that,
everything that is said here is not necessarily the opinion of Q95.
I know, no, I just like it.
I
So, something
understand.
I like reading up, just
Yeah.
like to just not like, but
Yeah.
just like to read up on those things.
Yes.
You have to
Yes.
give yourself, you have to give yourself information.
Right.
You have
That's
to
true.
inform yourself,
Mm.
on certain things. You cannot be left out.
Mm.
Because the world revolving every time. So,
Mm.
you have to learn new things. So that is what I
Mm.
like to. I like to watch my
Nothing.
documentaries.
Right. Right.
I like investigative discovery.
Mm.
Those type of things. I like
Mm-hmm.
to. I just like to go deeper.
Deeper into
And
right.
reading those things. And getting myself
Wow.
informed. I like to get myself informed because
Mm.
even when certain things, I can say yes, I know that. Look, it's that, and so on. So yes, I
Mm-hmm.
like to get myself informed.
That's good. I find myself I can really appreciate when you're talking you did a well pally sort, right? I get that is really a healthy thing,
Yes.
because sometimes you just have to let it go, right? I
Yes.
mean, without it being at the cost of someone else. Like
Yes.
it's nice, and we men, not women, but we men like me, um, we oftentimes when we have conversations with people, we want to fix. It's like they're talking to us for them to fix something. It's like
Yeah.
oftentimes men are just seem wired sometimes that they don't want to, if you're talking to them and they're like, what's the point? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, what you want to do?
Yes.
And sometimes people just want to talk. People
People
just
just
want,
want to
yeah.
talk. Yes. People
So
want
so
to talk.
now in social life, there is something called a dialogue and there's something called a discussion.
Yes.
A dialogue is a conversation that is strictly about you understanding my point of view and I understanding your point of view. So sometimes if I meet with people in a conflict, I said, okay, this is the first session, but we have 3, 4, 5 sessions, 6 sessions, 10 sessions too. You're mandated for 8 sessions. This first session, after maybe you just, the first session is probably just paperwork and that type of stuff. But the first conversation session, when you enter a dialogue, you are just basically saying what you think, and the other person is doing their best to listen and to understand what you're saying. Because there's so many times you are responding to what someone said and you really didn't listen or when you're not even able to listen because you are so defensive to hear how to come back that you don't get a chance to listen. But if someone brings to the table that this session has nothing to do with discussion, the discussion is after I understand what someone is saying, what needs to happen about it. Or how, so the only questions you would ask, a clarifying question. You said it happened on a Monday, Tuesday. You said the way you felt bad about this is, like just reinforcing question. So I think even like what you have when you talk on you and your daughter, saying palisade, right? You already know there's no objective. The objective is to talk.
It's
right?
just to talk.
Just to
Yes.
talk.
It's just to
And
talk.
actually, there is in Butu, in African, in Swahili, in Igbo culture and so on. It means I am because you are. Right.
Yeah.
And one of the practices in Ubuntu is that we have conversations until understanding is obtained. So it is even before we have those in those advanced studies, we have African practices and some Native American practices. Just that we have discussions and we're just talking. Like sometimes, even some guys, even some of the rum shop, sometimes guys just talking nonsense. And it's true you can talk nonsense and you're offending people, but you can talk nonsense just to talk. Like, I mean, there's really, at the end of the day, it was not an objective to create any kind of new thing, but you have to, it's like exhaust. If you inhale, you have to exhale. So that is, I really like that you mentioned that because, and another, talking about intersections you and I have, another thing is I like to do nothing. I believe it or not, I try to do nothing. And doing nothing, and my family knows that doing nothing for me is oftentimes watching Western movies. Don't
Yeah.
laugh. You know, like Western, actually don't
Yes,
laugh.
those are question
You
you.
know,
Yeah.
and those Western movies, the interesting thing about me, some of that stuff I probably don't want to admit in public why I like Western movies. But there are the storylines, you know, like usually it's like somebody good was living and something bad happens and they want to get justice. That's kind of the
Yes.
storyline.
Mhm.
But it's kind of interesting how the lines play out, the storyline is kind of like that. And certain things I watch when I watch all the Western movies, certain things I don't have to worry about. So I won't get into the details about that, but especially
Yeah.
with me, you know, yeah. But anyway, so I find that just and sometimes I'm well, of course, listen to blues, listen to live music and
Mhm.
things like that, where the objective is just to go and to be able to do that. So it's very to be able to listen and to engage. So it's very important because as we're talking here about all those heavy things, and the impact it has on the people, those things have on the people that live them, they also have impact on ourselves. And as we're talking about working with younger people, working with other people in the field, it is very important that those who work with us, those that work with themselves, who are doing that type of work, that you remember this very issue of self-care. Well, we are approaching now that last quarter, and I think we want to take another break by listening to another song of Raspo. Maybe whichever one we get, we'll get it, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Raspo Delmans Moses here on Peaceology State.
Land of sunshine, land of rain, a land of joy, a land of pain, land of rivers and fresh fruit spring. Why to who lead? Land where Kalinago, Carifuna roam free through mountain, river, valley and sea, hunting, fishing, planting, weaving. Why to who lead? Land of legend.
Yes, caller. Oh, the caller's gone. All right. Caller, try again. Sorry we missed you. We'll listen to a little more of Rasmo and then caller, try again.
She was a land of colonialism, a land of absence, land of
Yes, caller, you on the air? No. Caller, you on the air? Yes, caller.
Good night.
Good night.
Hello, good night,
Good
sir.
night, sir. Go ahead.
Good night, Miss Gloria.
Good night.
I'm just listening, and the first time calling your program, Dr. Caesar,
Yes,
and I
sir.
heard the teacher say that she working with the youths and youths that in need. And to me, Dr. Caesar said something a while ago that, like, you can give a lot of education, but how do you prepare them for the new world order, like the fast world that is coming in different fields like skills, advancement? What are some of the programs? Because this is a very interesting thing. Dominica is a country with a large amount of resources, but our people here don't know how to use it. If you look at the foreigners that come in, they're using the resources, even for the greater opportunity for them, but not much us. If you look at they put the people on the river on a tube, and they can sell it for at least 170 US. But our people are not training in that field, and that's and many different skills. And the government may not pay much attention to those areas. They put in some big infrastructure for the visitors, but what we don't do, we're not promoting and we're not tidying up the country enough. As I just heard you talk about water waving, it's a very good example. Water waving is one of the places that's selling Dominica more than Dominica tourism product itself in the whole island. If you look at most of the French people come here, they go by screws, they go by tiquet, tiers. Now, these places was built by the people themselves without much financial assistance. So take example from water waving, because I remember people like Bobby Frederick and Yvonne Nassif. These two men come and talk to me to get in tourism. And they give me the route how to get into tourism. I must do a training at the state college. I must do a certified training with Discover Dominica. But one of the first places Bobby took me was by screws to show me how screws develop this place so natural. So Dr. Caesar, I mean, I've been listening to you. You seem to be a very good guy and you mean well for your country. How do you could broaden that network to go into the different villages to start to train people like what Miss Gloria is saying in very young age in cooperative and how to control the anger and the violence to the government or some different body of people could send out people like what you're always talking about, the community police to deal with violence. When you see two young women fighting in a dance, we must go and find out what is the problem, that it will escalate and it has to get to the family. Because what you find, a lot of problems starting and then it escalates to the family because people get desperate and you have a lot of people in Dominica now that feel the bully. They're like some Hamas group and nothing can stop them. But you have another type of people that not so like them, but they do things in a different way. I will not say what's on the radio. So how do we deal with some of those problems? Do we get the elderly teachers that retire, the former commissioner of police, like what you're always saying, and goes to the community, find out what is the problem between these two young women that was on Facebook fighting in a dance, and then they went back inside of the dance. Do we need more security when you're having a dance and those things, Dr. Caesar? And I'm glad you come here to help us on the journey. I really appreciate it and the teacher, because a teacher can always correct a child. It's one thing, most time when a parent cannot control a child, but a teacher, you never told him. You always come, because a teacher is like a white staff. Look how much an animal is bad in the wild in Africa. Once you have a white staff, you control it. But if you have a gun, it will get violent. It will even kill you with the gun in your hand. But if you have a white long staff, even the elephant, the elephant and the lion. So a teacher is like a white staff. Look how old you come, your beards can be gray. You always respect your teacher. So those are the little areas I believe we have to control. Because if we're talking about tourism, all those violence that you see happening in Trinidad now, state of emergency, you've seen it. I think you have one of these reggae artists, I just forget his name now, Chris something. Chris something. He was here not too long ago. You know, his grandmother died and the other week, and a whole set of gunmen pass and shoot down. Injured 7 people, 1 people died. And police had to be burying on the security, burying his grandmother. Chris something, I just can't remember. Chris name. But he was here not too long by Gabriel Place there with the Jamaican promoter there. This is serious thing, mother. We're not studying them thing, we don't pay attention to those things. But I really appreciate your program. And Sam Raphael was saying it, which is a big tourism brand in Dominica. He say we need to market Dominica more because Dominica is what the world is looking for. But I believe the people in the government do have the right people to guide them. they can do the administration work, but they need more cooperative, like what Miss Gloria is saying. All them young children see out there, she can form them from very young to be farmers, to be engineers, as you say, but they still have the education, and I appreciate it, love.
Yeah. Caller, what community are you from, if you care, I ask?
Me, I'm Ronnie. I do manufacturing, locally processing. I do local processing. I work in tourism for like 15 years. I used to deal with the cruise people that come from the cruise ship. I never said I was doing like cruise on them. I wasn't selling souvenirs. I used to sell fruits and local drinks I make. I used to be at Pen Rice on the flat before Spanning Waterfalls.
Okay.
And I also do a project in Marigot, which is between Concord and Marigot. If you notice a little place, you'll see a lot of little signs when you pass the boys going down on the roadside there.
Yes.
Fishery Waterfalls, but I give it up. I didn't get any assistance from the people in authority, and I couldn't just keep spending money, and I didn't get in the push from it. It's a cascading waterfall, and you have a pool at the top. Like at the top of it, you have a big pool, and then I have a cascading. But originally I'm from Marigot, but I live in Goodwill.
Okay.
If you go buy a stuff and you'll see some of my products there, like garlic oil, ginger oil, cayenne oil, nutmeg cream, Magic Garden. That's my name. If you look on your Facebook page and you click in Ronnie Harper, you'll see my products there. But for you to open it, you have to, when you see my name show up, click on my name. When you open my Facebook page, you'll see my name, right? Ronnie Harper. You click on it and you'll open it up. And I appreciate your vibe. You look like a down-to-earth man, and Dominica need more people like you to because Dominica have a lot of jobless bridge, and it needs strong spirit people to cross that, and them young people cannot cross that. Trust me, them young people, that thing is like Pharaoh Moses trying to cross the Red Sea. Trust me, and I'm not talking politics, Dominica have a height of jealousy and pettiness, and it's a whole confusion that in the mind of the people. So I really like you to guide the youth, even me myself still need guidance, and others.
Ronnie, Ronnie, I'm really thankful to the spirit that you have brought tonight.
Yeah, I listen to you all the time, even with Fly City there, this place there.
Silver Lake, yeah.
Could make a nice tourist industry right on the road there, on the top side there, and get the young people involved in things.
Ronnie, our time is running up, but I want you to write my number because I want you to call me. I want you to call me, and I want to have a talk with you. Okay?
I'll link up with you. My number is 265. You can always give me a call. My number is 265-9673. You can always give me a call. Dr.
Okay.
Caesar,
yeah, I'll try to reach out to you, Ronnie, because I like the vibes you brought. I like the ideas, and trust me, what you just said about Silver Lake is a spot that could have something of tourism in the Rosa Valley. I completely agree with that. So one of the things, and I don't want to talk over you, but we have about 5 minutes and I have to wrap up. But one of the things we really want to do is to make energy.
You can get my number. It's 265-9673.
Thank you.
Page, I just give it to you. My name.
Thank you.
When you go on it, you just click my name.
Well, I'm not on Facebook, but I got the number, so I will reach out to you on WhatsApp. I'll call on WhatsApp. Okay, brother? Thank you so much for the energy that you brought. Thanks, Ronnie. Have a good night.
No, yes. I like them vibes,
okay.
I live in positive vibes.
Awesome.
Now it's the time of Rosie and Pierre Charles' anniversary. We're supposed to have a big remembrance of these people. Them people fight the struggle, Rosie, Peru, the man, we didn't understand what the man was doing. The man was sending poor people, children to study and get a degree.
Ronnie, we really have to run. I don't want to take a new wind. I don't want to take a new wind. Thank you so much. All right, brother. I want to be respectful to the time. That was Miss Walsh. What are your thoughts about what Ronnie had to say?
Okay, thank you, Ronnie. I heard he said about one of the things I heard him talk about is, we speaking to the community, going to different communities. That is a good idea. But what I've realized that, beforehand, we used to have a lot of community meetings, you would see the different councils, having different programs like resource sessions. And I think that too, maybe we can, contact different councils, to have different programs, especially the resource part of it. Resource persons, and even the councils themselves can take on their own, because what I'm seeing now, we have the lack of, everybody into their own space. I have observed that already. And then some people don't want to come out from their comfort of their homes. But sometimes it's good that if different people in different communities, the resource people can even come together as a group and give a talk, adult talk, give it something, name it something, dub it something, and then work within their communities.
So Miss Watch, let's next month. Next we're doing the show once a month now because it's kind of because of our schedules. So let's talk about it next show. Let's try to get a couple people to build up on what Ronnie is asking for. Some of the things that we have been talking about. Let's try to build up for next month's show to do something like that, because I think what you're talking about is being able to have kind of niche industries into communities, because we need to move just beyond just the voluntarism and other people making money out of our community and our people have to beg, right? And we need to move towards how do we turn around the great resources of our community to help our people, to help. I mean, government is part, or we are part of government, right? So it's not about fixing government road or fixing government building, because it's our building as well. So whatever government has to do, we have to do too, in the sense that we have a role to play ourselves. You understand? Even if, of course, we need good governance and we need strong governance, but we also need good governance of ourselves. Because if we are too dependent on government, we will be doing less, but government has to be able to do enough. So let us talk later on in terms of how we collaborate, in terms of thinking about resources in the communities and how we help to move the quality of life of communities forward. Dr. Peter KB St. Jean here at Peaceology State, here at the big station Q95. It's the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. We want to thank you so much for listening to us here on today, Monday, the 6th of January of the year 2025. Ms. Gloria Watch, thank you for being here. Ronnie, thanks for calling. And all of you on Facebook.
Thank you.
Lambi, good night. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to the big station, Q95.
She was the land of colonialism, a land of absentee, land of majestic maroon chiefs, land of different beliefs, land of the waterfall, land of the boiling lake. When you go away, please, please return for goodness sake to our She's a land of independence, land of love and patience. This your land young, strong, moving on. Why too coolly? This is the road. This is the road. Such a blessing. Good tunes abound.